Alex, yo, buddy. Yo, yo. Good evening, good evening. Good in evening. Belgian, yo, buddy. Yo, yo. Hopefully everyone's staying busy on... Oh, today's Friday. Yeah, on a Friday. Busy, busy Fridays. Fun Day Friday. That's what today is. Super fun Friday. Boss, hello, sir. Made some small Battle March army list, and I'm with the idea of bringing it to the local gaming club to learn the game, so in 3 months minimum. Well, you know, you don't really have to make, Is it because you don't have time, or you just don't have everything made? Because you have that, like, converted force that I saw, which looked really good. Which I'm assuming is going to be the Battle March force. I'll say this, enjoy shuffling. You don't move too far with dwarves, I gotta say. Enjoy the shuffle. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Well, what are you doing for the Battle March, then? Because you could technically copy the one from the book. Like, that was a muster list that they gave you for, like, thematics, but... You know, it's just about playing the game, I think, really is where it is. It's better to play the game, a pirate crew. You could do something like that, yeah. You could also do it for Age of Sigmar with, like, the salvagers. You could do a Caradron spearhead of, like, the Von Grimm. Cannon and gyro bomber. So you're gonna make a cannon more of like an airship? No, that could be fun. Yeah, for sure. Like a Dogs of War pirate dwarf army. Might be hard to come up with minis for that, considering Long Drong was like the quintessential pirate sculpt for a dwarf because most of them wear clothing, but I mean, you can convert literally anything. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that could be easy enough. Yeah, for sure. You could do it. Give them sashes and big belts and buckles and everything. Strap a bunch of fucking caps lock, flintlock, whatever pistols to them. I mean, not Spearhead, sorry. Battle March isn't really a massive hobby project. You can make it a massive hobby project, but yeah. It's a very feasible way of playing the game if you've never played the game, with a reasonable amount of minis to convert. Like, for dwarves, you're never going to have that much anyways, right? Your points are all over the place, so... You know, most of your money's going to be in... Actually, I don't even know the structure of the companion that came out. They might have changed a few things. The numbers may have changed for, like, how you divide your points. I think it's, like, no expensive characters. You have to have a certain amount of points for this and this. I can't remember what it was. You obviously don't want it turning into Hero Hammer, because, like, characters kind of run old world at times, and you've got not much room to work with Battle March, so... You get a smattering of units, and you just kind of, like, roll with it. You say, this is cool, this is fun, I've tried this. You still on the cruise? You part of the cruise ship that had the rat outbreak? They can't let you back in? A&W is good. It's, well, depends on where you get it from. It always matters, like, who's working there at the time. That is cool, though. I would imagine you are seeing quite a bit and doing quite a bit. Chrissy, hello, ma'am. It's good to get out and do things. Being crammed indoors all day ain't how humans are supposed to live. I was very busy today, actually. I got news that I basically have to pack up all my stuff, and so I've been cleaning and sorting and chucking. So I'm very much in a bit of a go, go, go state for the next, like, month and a half, probably. Life is just like that sometimes. Mad Bro, hello, sir. For now we are. I'm just gonna spend a bit of time doing this, so I'm gonna go stream some League later. It's the never-ending march of cleanup. Super fun cleanup. Everyone loves scraping mold lines. My tank should be here by the time I'm back on land. Were they pre-orders, or were they, like, in stock? GW stuff ships pretty damn quickly, I'm not gonna lie. For how pricey GW stuff is, their customer service and shipping are pretty damn impeccable. And for the price you pay, they better be. Like, that is quite the investment, I gotta say. And they should know you on a first-name basis. You're like, yeah, you bought out the warehouse last time? In-stock orders? Oh, everything should be there then. Yeah, for sure. There's no reason they wouldn't. Those things ship so quickly. They will eventually get you with something. At the time, you're like, you know what? I don't need anything else. I've built the army. I'm set. I've got what I need. And then it's like, but have you seen these? Do you want to play this list? Do you want to do this? Like, they will get you. We're doing another game today. We didn't do one yesterday. I'm probably going to play KO today. I've been playing a bunch of Fire Slayers to try and, like, eke out a win, but I just can't. I think a lot of it comes through in the deployment and getting first turn. The board is just so small. Like, I at least want one fucking win with the Fire Slayers, considering they're the most I've played. But, like, it's just such a bad matchup. It's so hard to deal with. Like, the Night Hunt, for the sake of Spearhead, are just basically Fire Slayers, but better. Double their movement, same saves, same damage output. Except they can't be rended. Like, you can't modify their saves at all, but they can modify yours. It's just a hard matchup. It's an uphill battle for sure. Next order will probably be all the new orc stuff when it's out. Well, there's even more that's going to be announced, eh? Whatever they've shown so far is out, but they're probably going to come out with more. Because they showed the bikers, right? And then most likely Meganobs and Battle Wagon. I think it's going to be an entire orc range refresh, I'm not going to lie. Okay. Mega Blasphemous for dwarves on an Anvil of Doom. So some sort of, like, desecrated anvil. Because technically the anvils are, like, the dwarves' most prized possessions that have been around since, like, before the War of the Beard. Like, these are, like, the most ancient of weapons that the dwarves can kind of bring to bear. So you'd have to, like, corrupt that in some way. But you still need an anvil. You still need the base anvil to work off of, because that's just what an Anvil of Doom is. Maybe they've hammered in fucked up runes or something. Warpstone-infused runes. Because you said they're supposed to be killing Skaven, right? Maybe they've tried to harness, like, Warpstone. I mean, that'd be a pretty fucked up thing to look at, though. Like a Chaos-infused Anvil of Doom. Because Warpstone is just, like, coalesced, you know, solidified, like, chaos. But it's still an energy source. Technically, right? They must get you a win at some point. It's just tough. It's tough to win. If I don't get first turn, she's in my deployment zone, and I'm, like, totally fucked. The Night Hunt have 3 teleports in Spearhead. Fire Slayers have 0. Well, actually, no, that's not true. You can actually use magnet tunnels in Spearhead, but it's a kind of a jank. It's a bit jank. You have to get first turn for it to matter. If you don't get first turn... Yeah, most times. I don't know what. I lose every roll off. I don't know what it is, bro. I lose every roll off. Would love to see the new Mega Knobs. With owning 130 Terminator balls, I do enjoy heavy armor. The new Mega Knobs, if they do come out, would be sick, yeah. I mean, Terminators are cool. All those minis are great, but a lot of them are just kind of due for, like, a refresh, you know? Yeah, it's just... It's a bit of a blunder dealing with them. Spearhead is about sticking power, movement, and damage. Damage to clear, movement to take, sticking to hold. And it's like, all right, I have, like, maybe 2 of those things at an all right pace. Movement's a bit rough if I don't get first turn. If I do get first turn, maybe I can strike out, but then, you know, you just get charged. You're almost guaranteed to get charged in one turn against Night Haunt. It's a melee army with an 8-inch move on, like, every basic troop. Even more depending on characters. So, for the Fire Slayers who need charges, specifically the Volkites, because the Volkites get +1 attack on the charge, you're almost losing, like, the unit completely with their rules. It's just tough. Then again, the Fire Slayer Spearhead's so one-dimensional. There's not much flavor to it. It's super basic. Like, the Fire Slayers are still due for a book, so if they do make a new Spearhead, it's going to be a little bit more fluid, I would say. Probably even with, like, a Magmadroth. But as it stands, it's a very, very, like, one-note, kind of, like, trudge up the board, beat the shit out of things, revive a few guys with, like, the Horn of Grimnir, and then you've got rune popping to kind of, like, make phases around. Yeah, it's a bit rough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. The Cruel Boy, how many do you get? Two? Two different Spearheads? I think every army should have at least, like, two, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta turn up the gain on this mic. It's just so low. Yeah, that should be good. Should be a bit better. Yeah, you get the crossbow. You get the ballista. The big ballista that sits in the back. I mean, Spearhead is... it's not balanced. Warhammer inherently will never be balanced. Asymmetrical games are never fair. But, like, you can make do with what you have, you know? As long as you have fun, that's the point. How many books have they had? And I feel like that shouldn't really matter because it's just a way to sell product. You're just printing the same product but reboxing it. Cruel Boys have had, what, two books? Yeah. Well, who knows then? But there should be at least two. I mean, Fire Slayers have one as well. Ogres are getting a new one. I mean, the Hellsmiths have one. They just came out, so... Fire Slayers are a, like, super OG Age of Sigmar army, and they have one. All right, dude. It's like, okay, man. And it's all just the same unit. You have no unit variety. You have 20 Volkites, 5 Hearthguard, and a Battlesmith. It's like, all right, what do they all do differently? They all have slightly different hit profiles, slightly different damage, and that's basically it. And then abilities. It's like they're not really that different. It's like you've got the basic hitting unit and then the slightly better hitting unit. That's also like a ward save for your fucking Battlesmith, but it's like, yeah. Oh, it's the range is so bland. I like the Fireslayer lore. It's good. I've always enjoyed AOS lore in terms of like the KO and the Fireslayers, even though I still prefer fantasy dwarves, but like the miniature range is what drew me away from Fireslayers. I've come around to them over the years. Like, I've got a little Fireslayer force that I'll be building, but it was never a take on lore. Like, losing Grimnir and then everyone kind of going insane and being like, well, the only logical thing to do is go piece them back together through, like, the realms as mercenaries and questionable allies. It's like, it's a very desperate thing. It's a very lowly thing for dwarves to do. It's different. But the minis are so uninspired. That's the biggest problem. Yeah, the miniatures, like, you need to have the different parts of Fireslayer Society kind of represented in their own way. So, like, the Zargrim priesthood, like, the priests look different, fine, but then you've got, like, the Hearthguard, the Auric Hearthguard, who have, like, the pole arms. You know, some stick with the Zargrim, some stick with, like, the Rune Fathers and the Patriarchy, but they just look the same. It's like if you have, it's the same thing with like the Votann. Like the Hearthguard looks so boring. It's like these are the most esteemed warriors in your army, in your kin band. It's like, can they not be festooned with even a little bit more? Like, I guess for the sake of pragmatism and like, who cares? We're here to do a job. Sure, but like, you're a decorated hero. You're important. You know, you should have that come across in miniatures. It's weird, like the Hammerers, right? Like fantasy battles, Hammerers look fucking sick. Like the king will literally deck out his Hammerers in runic hammers, in, you know, Gromril suits of armor. It's so nice. And then you've got like, you know, whatever the hell's going on with the Fireslayers, whatever the hell's going on with like the Votann. Yeah, they're utilitarian, exactly. It's like, why would we need this? But for the sake of miniatures, why not? You know, you can have a bit of a festooned, you know, mask or something, or like its own garb. The calls in 40K have like actual, you know, face masks and everything that look pretty cool, and they're distinct and they're different. But it's missing a little bit of visual flavor. Like, the Fireslayer range is probably the worst in that regard, but there's ways to fix that. A lot of that would come through in the shape of, like, cloaks or tabards or, you know, more armor, distinct face plates and masks and things. Like, you can make them look cool, even different mohawk designs. You know, maybe have some smaller mohawks, maybe have some bigger ones. It's like, the Fireslayer range is just a copy-paste with a few changes. And that's always been its biggest problem. Because the lore for the Fireslayers, there's nothing wrong with it. So, who knows? That's one of my biggest gripes with, like, some of the range. It's just a very uninspired thing to look at. And, you know, you can convert and make your own shit, and that's how it should be. It's Warhammer. It's all about your own individual hobbying, but, you know, the uniqueness of units, the status of units, you know, where they are in that hierarchy, it's, like, such an important thing to represent. Bit of a gripe. Devania, buddy. Exactly, exactly. And then give them masks, give them some sort of, like, capes. I don't see why you wouldn't want some sort of, like, magmic, Not even like a fucking like a Magmadroth scaled cloak. Like, you don't need that. You just give them a cloak, bro. If they're there to guard the the higher ups, if they're there to literally protect the priesthood, God, what's the father's name? The Rune Fathers and everything. It's like, why do you just look like a dude? You know, wouldn't you be kind of decorated if you're that much of a big deal? Yeah, I'd like to see the Fireslayer range redone. I'm not gonna lie, it's very like the heads don't look too good. They're all like super bland. None of them are yelling. They're all just like looking at you when they're supposed to be the embodiment of like Grimnir, a fearless warrior god. Like, it's like, all right, man. There's good artwork though. Like, I think Age of Sigmar is a bit weird because like a lot of the art in AOS just doesn't hit, in my opinion. It's very corporate. It's very super stylized, very colorful, very like box art, new age box art oriented. But there's a lot of really good stuff that has come out over the years that has definitely darkened the tone of like Age of Sigmar and made you look at it differently. You know what'd be sick that I was thinking of? It's like it's what they did. You know what they did with the Slayers in Age of Sigmar? Or not Age of Sigmar, sorry, in Fantasy. What the studio did is, since, you know, you could say, oh, Grimnir shaved his head and, you know, walked north with like a mohawk of blazing orange, whatever. They didn't paint the dwarf beards on the Slayers with that same orange. I think it looks great if they're all orange, but I could also see a point where if you want a little bit more flavor, you can make it look like they're dyed. So you can still have that dye running out of the beard, and you can have that natural color kind of seeping out, but you would still have remnants of the dye in their beard, right? Like, that would look great on Fire Slayers, I think. Although I'm not sure how the Fire Slayer beards work in terms of like, are they all supposed to be blazing orange? I can't remember, but it's just more believable visual flair. Like, instead of like, oh, we're all ginger dwarves, it's like, well, we dyed our hair in honor of like our deity. Yeah. What do you mean? See what? Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say. Well, what I was hinting at more was like, I prefer the beards to be orange, but like you can still have that dyed look to it where you have that natural hair color kind of like poking through. That's what I mean. Because the Fire Slayers look like they're all just that way, you know? Like, every one of their beards, every one of their plumes are all painted the exact same way. And then of course you got different lodges, so you've got different markings. But it's just more of like a gritty visual distinction between Fire Slayers, because you could have like black beards, brown beards, blonde beards, but you can still have that inkling of like orange dye in them. It would make them look a lot less samey and more gritty, because a lot of the Age of Sigmar stuff right now is very much its own grimdark, which I like, because that was the biggest problem with Age of Sigmar, is that it was too bubbly. The artwork was just not a good depiction of, I think, how anyone should view that universe. So with the new sculpts, the city sculpts, the ogre sculpts, I mean, they've been doing it for a while now. They're more proportioned. They're a little bit darker in tone. Like, Age of Sigmar is great, but over the years, it's just been a bit of a mystery at times. It's Age of Sigmar, when it first came out, was very, it was a very corporate game. A lot of corporate imagery, a lot of like, not entirely though. And I believe it's more of the artist's brief, right? Like even John Blanche when he was talking about the second edition box art cover with like the Blood Angels and the orcs, he was like, I didn't like doing this. This was not my favorite thing. This was like so corporate. It was meant to be, you know, very bold and colorful and draw people in when you look at it. But it was like one of my least favorite things to draw. I believe that's what he said. Because it was more of a product. It's still an amazing piece of art, regardless of how he thought about it. But like, from that point of view, like it makes complete sense, you know? You're not really representing a universe, you're representing a brand image. But then again, that brand image can also just be how you want to depict your world. Both are good games. No, this is all part of the sculpt. I'm just cleaning it up. But Total War are both good games. 1, 2, and 3, they're all just DLC. You know what? I gotta look this up. I gotta see who drew these covers. Was it Thomas Elliott? Oh, it wasn't Thomas Elliott for the first one. I gotta go back and buy the first edition Fireslayer book. I had it when it first came out, and I'm like, fuck that. I believe it was by Johann Grenier, who did, like, the White Dwarf, was it 500? It's the one with Grombrindle in the middle of, like, the Caradron and the Fireslayers. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, the modern ones are a little bit more modern, a bit more streamlined, a bit more official GW and less like, hey, we hobbied and we built this out of like a piece of cheese. I was actually I'm in the process of packing up all my White Dwarfs, but I've got like hundreds. I was gonna start reading one a week on a YouTube video just for content. Like, all right, we're gonna pick a random White Dwarf off the shelf from God knows what year and just read through it and be nostalgic. Like, that could be cool. Yeah, literally. I mean, even GW endorsed that, though, right? Because back then it was all about handmade stuff. There wasn't really official... They had, like, gaming mats and things that you could buy, but a lot of GW stuff was very much DIY. Even the official books were all DIY. So it was like, this is how you would make a table, and this is the material you'll need, and They tell you about the different woods and the different, like, cardboards, and with a little bit of ingenuity and creativity, you can do it. These days, it's all done for you, and I'm not going to lie, this shit looks amazing, but, you know, when a product is made for you and you don't have to make it, in an age of people being busy, yeah, it's not so bad. I think a mix of both is where I'm at in terms of, like, where terrain should be. I used to build it, and when certain editions rolled around, they just sold you kits that would kind of, like, flesh out the world of Warhammer on the tabletop and give you some sort of visual distinction between, you know, settings. Like, this is fantasy with the Empire buildings, or this is 40k with, like, the ruined cities. It's Warhammer. That's the aesthetic, but yeah, back in the day, you just kind of had to make your own. Maybe. The pre-painted ones look fucking phenomenal, I'm not gonna lie. They look really good, and they're really nice to have just done. People love making terrain and painting terrain, but a lot of people don't. I don't think people would complain if they came out with that stuff for, like, any other range. And again, as an alternative, not as the only option, because it is a hobby after all, right? And they want you to build and paint and do stuff. You can't have all the work done for you for free. They're actually, I think it's like, well, you'd need to see it in hand to really say so, but, like, from what I saw, I think it's just, like, colored on, like printed on it, but it's stuck. Like, if you were to scrape into it, you wouldn't get the same design or color that would be on top of it, you know? So what I think they'll do is probably mold it in a certain plastic color and then, like, etch it or, like, UV print it or something on top of it. I think that's how it works. Because you can cast up anything in any color as long as you have the plastic pellets. You just melt them down and they get injected, but there's a bit more to, like, how they did that terrain. I think it was a few $100s. Because it's supposed to come with the board as well, so you get, like... It's a battlefield in a box. You basically pay a shit ton of money, and you have an entire table instantly. Which, to me, sounds fucking amazing. It's just a matter of, do you want to pay that much money? It's like, I want to play on Armageddon. Buy the Armageddon box. I want to play on Catachan. Buy the Catachan box. I want to play on this and this and this. You know, they're going to come out with boxes. It's an entire table. Yep, it's everything. It's a one-and-done purchase for an entire board. So you're probably going to spend about... It's probably going to be like $300 to $400. Zed, hello, sir. Yo, yo. I'm kind of on a terrain binge right now because I've got my table. And never in a million years since I was young did I ever really cared this much about terrain. You know, if you don't really have a dedicated play space, you're like, why do I need terrain? But now that me and Ivana play, like, every other day, yeah. It was in high school, and it was when I was young is when I had terrain. Oh, they might, yeah. Well, I mean, everything, literally, the most important thing about the last reveal show was they're trying to onboard players into Necromunda and Blood Bowl and Old World. 3 games that I think are cool. Cool settings, you know, very fun, lots of depth. But entry into those things, not the most convenient. Like, where do you find people to play Blood Bowl with? How do you start a Necromunda campaign? Who the fuck plays Old World? You know what I mean? So, if the goal is onboarding, I don't see a reason as to why they wouldn't want to try and make ease of access terrain to go along with that, you know? I saw, like, I mean, to be honest, some of those products are fucking cheap. Like, I watched an unboxing of the Old World core set, and it comes with like a fucking paper mat for like the terrain or like the board itself. It's so garbage. That's worth literally nothing. It's ugly, it's folded, it's glossy. It looks like shit. It's like, why couldn't you put a cardboard box in there or a cardboard mat? You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to charge that much money. And then beyond that, you know, in the future, pre-painted terrain. It's like, even if it's meant to get people playing, it's like, imagine playing on that as your first fucking board. It's so ass. Same thing with Necromunda. The Necromunda stuff looks like shit. Well, if it's cardboard, great. If it's going to be one of those cheapo paper boards, paper mats, no. I have Secundus, but I get if people prefer to play actual campaigns instead. I guess it just depends on the person. I think most people who would get into Necromunda would want to play a campaign or would want to play, like, one-off, you know, games. It's a narrative experience, right? So, like, if you want to sit there and play by yourself, you could do that. Everyone hobbies differently. Really boils down to who you know and who you can play with. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I've really wanted to do that myself, so I'm not sure entirely, but maybe you do just want to play a solo campaign board game. Maybe. I assume it does not feel the same as a single player game. Like, I don't think playing Necromunda Hive Secundus solo campaign gameplay is the same as, like, Red Dead, you know? I don't think it invokes... I don't think it would invoke the same feeling. Yeah. Well, that's what it takes. You need people to play with, right? Hobbies, like tabletop gaming, is inherently about connections, people, in person, doing things. That's half the battle. First, it starts with you getting all your shit done, and then it starts with you trying to find people to play with. That's why it's so fun. It's just because it's so different from gaming. Excuse me. Either way, you enjoy what you enjoy. I'm sure there's someone out there who exclusively only plays single-player Warhammer. Hive Secundus every day. Necromunda. And that's like his jam. He works a 20-hour shift and then comes home and does that. You never know. I mean, it's a big world out there. People are always doing something. I don't think there's any problem in trying it, though. If it's an option in terms of how to play a game, it's there. If it was intended to be played, I mean, why not try it, you know? Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe everything we've said was like complete cope and it's like the best thing ever. Yeah, go for it. I mean, again, depends on where you live and depends on the popularity, but like everyone's gonna play Age of Sigmar eventually. Or no, that's not what I mean. I mean, wherever you go, you'll probably find AOS, even a little bit. Old World, maybe not so much, but maybe that's like the #1 thing at your club or where you live. It all just depends on where you are. Or you could just play 40k and everyone would welcome you into their community. Either way, a little bit of everything goes a long way. You can play Age of Sigmar with a Spearhead, you can play Old World with a Battle March, you can play anything with a small amount of minis. No faction. You don't like what, Votan? I mean, you like squats, and I think you have dwarves, no? For like Old World? You don't like the Votan? I mean, if you like dwarves, the Votan are kind of like a no-brainer. You're still gonna have to cope with the fact that they're all nasty looking, but like, they're still inherently dwarves. Well, they still have guilds. They still have guilds that take to the field, right? All of that stuff is still there. It's just a little less homey. Because, like, the squats are 100% more homey than the Votan. I'll agree with that. No cloning, families. Necromunda is just an isolated, like, planet. They're on their own. They're a little less homey. I think the Votan are just a very expansive kind of take on dwarves. And for the sake of, like, 40k, I mean, everything's pretty expansive. But they're still like that. Man, yo, buddy. I mean, they might do more with the Chthonian guilds, but you still have, like, the Science Guild and everything and all that stuff, because you've got multiple units taken to the field anyways, and for the sake of societies, you need different guilds and things to kind of progress your species anyways. Yeah, there's only 2 things. Yeah, for sure. Got Barrack. Barrack came out. I mean, he's not... He's cool, but most Votann characters don't really matter. I think for the sake of 40k, the biggest turnoff with the Votann entirely, the number one thing that ruins it for me, and I will never really accept it, I will, like, I'm not going to sit here and complain, but, like, it's just not my thing, is the cloning. The cloning is, like, the worst part of the Votann, easily. You care a lot less about something that's just, like, vat-grown nastiness. Like, for the sake of, again, 40k and a little offshoot of humanity that needed to, like, survive, you know, cloning yourselves and genetically making your makeup more of your environment than anything. Makes sense. Very sci-fi. But then you have, like, the dwarf thing in there, and it's like, clone dwarves? What the hell? But it is different, and it's distinctly 40k, so that's cool. I'd still say that's my biggest gripe with the Votann. But we do know they can reproduce without cloning technology, so there's that as well. Yeah. Well, they're all the abhuman stuff outside of, like, again, the Votann. They're all just... They're all complementary pieces. The Ratlings, the Ogren, the Squats at one point. Although the Squats had their own army, to be fair, but... Yeah, you'd have to play Guard and then just be like, I like Ogrins. Here's an army of, like, Bulgrin. Are they gonna get something done? I doubt it, but, like, I like Ogren. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe you'll change your mind. Who knows? Get into what you love. Don't force yourself to do it. I was gonna say that sounds a lot like Kill Team. Can you? I don't. Can you make an Ogren Kill Team? You can. You can play Ratlings. I'm not sure if Ogren can be played as, like, a full Kill Team though. It's just a bunch of Ogrins and, like, one Commissar. AOS is good though, yeah. It's a different... It's a different thing. Very reminiscent of what it's come from, but still its own. It's just a bunch of Ogrins and a Commissar. Do like a Penal Legion fucking Kill Team. It's like 50 shitty, like, conscripts, and you've got, like, a Commissar. Pretty much. I mean, you can win with bodies. You don't necessarily need to have one good character. 50 shitty guardsmen can still tar pit for a while. What time is it? 1:40. We've only been here for about an hour. I'm feeling a little bit tired, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't had food all day. I normally have a snack around noon. That I did not have. Even breakfast, technically, but... Yeah, I gotta force myself to eat food sometimes. I like food. I'm a big guy, but like sometimes I'm just like, I'll eat later. Today I was just so busy, I just didn't eat. Busy, busy, busy. Pixel, hello, sir. Yeah, we're good. Hope you're well. Hope everyone's well. And chilling and doing something productive. Or maybe not productive, and you just want to chill, because that's good too. Oh, God, I'm tired. Fuck! Okay, this is not the wall. Holy gamoly. You know what? Food is good, bro. I don't blame you. Food is lovely. Yeah, that is true. I mean, some people just love healthy food. Yeah, healthy food's fucking great, but, you know, you need a bit of everything sometimes. If you love salads and just meat with nothing on it, it's like, all right. All right. Mm. Boom, 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 boom. I think I might actually end here soon and go eat, and then I gotta go and play some League. I'm just starving. I need some food, god damn it, food! I have no idea what I'm gonna have, but anything at this point would be lovely. Some bean boozle. I think that's the exact opposite of what would make me hungry and continue to be hungry. I think that would just burn out my stomach with just how filthy it is. That is a very nasty thing. What was it again? Onions and liver and onions. Oh my god. Well, sometimes they're okay, yeah, but fuck, man, I've been scarred. Liver and onions is just vile. It's an artificially flavored fucking bean that tastes like meat and onions. Like, good Christ. If it was real, great, but like the fact that it's simulated and it's all in a bean, it's like, ugh. It's mush. Mush texture. Mush flavor. Stomach turns to mush. Mush. Probably, yeah, when we've dried out the earth of all of its like natural resources. The greed of mankind. Faded after all these years? Well, everyone takes a bit of a break and then comes back to it, right? It's not like a 24/7 thing. But there's always something to look forward to. I've been doing this shit my whole life, so it's like... It's just something you know you love, you know? The issue is how much physicality there is to it, because everything you do within this hobby is physical. So it's like how much space, how much effort, how much time, how much money, how much anything. It's a hobby where if you put a lot into it, you get a lot out of it. But you have to put a lot into it. And I feel like with most people who do Warhammer, they usually stick to it. The more you do Warhammer, the more you most likely will like. And the more you like, the more you want to get invested. And when you're invested, you're like, ugh, it's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere, bro. It's in the bathroom. It's in the tub. It's in the kitchen. It's on my nub. It's on my brain. Okay, we gotta change this song. It's in my balls. Yeah, pretty much. It's everywhere. That is true, he did. Well, that's what you do with Warhammer. You're like Bob Ross. You'll never be as cool as Bob Ross or as chill as Bob Ross, but like, you're the Bob Ross of your own universe, you know? Time to make some happy little depressed, death enthusiastic dwarves. They're going to go up against a troll. Nice big fat troll. He's going to burn them all alive with acidic vomit. It's like, yeah, that's your world. That's Warhammer. I'm going to paint that dwarf's balls. It's like, yeah, man. New song. Yeah, Mad Bro, peace. I will be on. Peace, buddy. Next week. We're gonna get back to it next week. We're back to Dying Light 2 next week. It's official. Yes, sir. We gotta beat that game. We have to beat that game and then move on to a lot more games. You're good, sir. No worries. Well, those would be magnifiers. These are just protective glasses, so they're not, like, magnified by any means, but at one point I had magnifiers, I just don't have them now. Yes, later today. I gotta go eat after this. I'm gonna leave soon. I'm gonna go eat, and then I'm gonna be on. Yeah, we did that for a little bit. That sounds a lot like my playthrough for a little bit, but then it was different. It's you gotta think. You really gotta think with what you're doing. It's a really fucking beautiful game, though. It's a very human game. That's what I like about it the most. Is it's something that we can all share in. Isn't T1 also streaming? Is he doing Street Fighter? A few League folks are on, I'm sure. We just kind of sit here and we chill and we yap about whatever, and I scrape 5,000 fucking mold lines. I'm just looking at this and I'm like, mold line everywhere. For God's sake, they're everywhere. They're not coming out of the walls, they are the walls. Yeah, those are all done. This is the last spearhead set, which is just a bunch of like ghoulish looking walls and terrain pieces. There's like an altar of blood that I haven't worked on yet with like a little statue. This is just for the sake of spearhead because that's what me and Ivana are playing the most of. So it just works as little arenas. I've got 3 separate sets of terrain. Each set of terrain goes to 2 separate boards. They're just double-sided cardboard. So that's what I'm just trying to do right now. Just make those 3 separate arenas. One of them is a destroyed cityscape. One of them is like the underworld. The other one is some ruins. Some overrun ruins. Just takes a while if you want to get everything done. And there's also like a million fucking mold lines, so it's just unfortunately the way it is. People have designed game rooms. I think for the sake of a game room, maybe, but not like an entire basement now. Like, people have themed... If you've ever seen, like, D&D rooms or hobby game rooms and things, like, if you're playing a game in there, it's not a bad idea to theme it. I don't think it would cost that much. You just do a DIY project. I don't think it'd be that bad. Live without disturbance. It's me and my other personalities. It'd be cool, though. I mean, the thing is, okay, put it this way. If I pursue anything in the future and I'm given a chance at like having a game room, having my own space, having a big basement, if that's like a dream that comes true, it would probably be themed around Hearth and Hobbying. Maybe some sort of like dwarven-esque forge room. Because, like, you know, it's part of your livelihood. You want to make it reminiscent of that. Like a set. I think that'd be cool. For the sake of a regular stream room that's not Warhammer, I mean, I'd totally do something like a captain's quarters. It's all dreams. Pretty much, yeah. Well, it wouldn't be a functioning one because, like, that is, yeah. But it'd be cool. That'd be dope. It's, I'll say this. It is hard to make tabletop gaming work. Yeah, I gotta cut my thumbnails. They're all fucking gangly. It's hard to make tabletop gaming work in terms of a business or in terms of a livelihood. It's really just love of the game. Love of the game, and if people really like you and want to support you, that's the biggest thing. It's not like streaming a video game. It's not like playing some meta relevant thing where everyone's on board. You know, tabletop gaming's always been kind of a niche. You could say D&D is pretty mainstream, but even then, trying to make a living out of it is not easy. But you still would want to do it because it's love of the game, right? It's like fighting games. Hard to make a living with fighting games, but people do it because they love it, and they try and make it work. Mochi ever have armor? Maybe. You could be an armored Fent beast. It is space. Space is, well, it's not even space, it's money. You know how expensive this shit is? Space, money, time. That is what you need for Warhammer. And the will to do it. Because you can get burned out of scraping mold lines and painting like anything else. But the more you do and the more you acquire in terms of things done, you know, it'll hopefully motivate you to do more. No, anything is possible. Exactly. And it's not like it's impossible. People currently make Warhammer their living, but you know, to do that, again, love of the game. Same thing with speedrunning, love of the game. Well, that's a whole different beast. If you're down bad, I mean, that's your choice, bro. I'm good. Well, there's a community for everything. It's not just one thing. You know, yeah, like you're going to have weird niches like that, but you're going to have people who still love it, you know? 100%. In a perfect world, you could pursue your passions and make it your living, but, like, that's not always the case. Life ain't perfect. But if you're given the chance, try it. Never know. I have no idea. I don't think I'd ever want to speedrun. That's not really my passion. I like playing games and learning about games and giving them a fair chance, but I don't really want to speedrun. You probably could. Yeah, you could. Ishin is a formula. All bosses are formulas. Once you crack the formula, you understand. There isn't a human behind it. You can't have something you can't predict. You understand the machine. The machine is designed to do something, and you can kind of catch on to that. I don't know. Not sure. He's tough as fuck, though. Ishin's a wanker. Ishin's like uber tough to beat. I bought myself the Mega Boss on the Maw Crusher on Amazon, and it should have arrived yesterday, and now it only says no delivery date available. Refund. And just order it again. Or it'll show up, but usually Amazon... I've ordered a ton of stuff on Amazon, and usually when that happens is it's lost, or it just randomly shows up. Amazon's actually not terrible for Warhammer. Sometimes you get a cheaper deal than anywhere else, which is a weird thing, but... And I maybe could have made a tier list of the bosses. I mean, there's a lot of them. A lot of good ones. Yeah, I want to put this down for now so I don't lose my mind. I gotta go back to that. Let's do this one. Isn't there another wall? Oh, it's this one. Oh, this one we already worked on. Okay. I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna leave this for now. Technically, we worked on 3 walls, which is not a bad gig, considering there's not much terrain in the spearhead. I'm gonna go eat. I need food. Don't know what I'm gonna eat, but I want to go eat something, so I'm not gonna starve. After I'm done eating, I will be on the main channel. So, with that being said, everyone, short stream, but thank you for hanging out if you are here. And I will see you guys later, either on the main channel or maybe super late tonight on this channel. I'm not sure, but yeah. We'll see. All right, everyone, be good, be well. And I